What's up, guys? Sam Adams here, and today we're going to be talking about the Game Awards 2014 and what I thought were the most interesting points of the show. This year is the first year that it did not air on Spike TV, and that's because Jeff Keighley, the host of the Game Awards as well as the host of Spike's E3 coverage, decided to take the show and separate it from Spike because whenever it was airing on Spike, it tended to have a very unprofessional tone and a kind of an inside joke tone to it, and whenever the world pays attention to gaming for one day out of the year and you give off that kiddie childish impression, it's the equivalent of going up to your girlfriend's father for the first time and sneezing in your hand and going in for a handshake. It just doesn't give the right impression. So Jeff decided to go off and make his own version of the awards show, and I think it went pretty well. There were a lot of awesome announcements, a lot of awesome gameplay, and I took notes here. I have a sheet of highlights that I made up, and I'm going to be going off of that, but this is not everything that was announced at the Game Awards. A quick Google search can remedy that for you. You can find ample coverage on everything that was announced, every single thing, everyone that took a breath. You can find tons of details on it. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into what I thought were the most interesting points of the show. So first off, I saw Bloodborne, and Bloodborne is kind of a game where you're going to be fighting your nightmares, and it's like a whole bunch of scary monsters that pop out at you. It's kind of like you'll be walking down a corridor, and then all of a sudden something will come out of the wall, and it'll just be like right there. And all in all, it's a pretty good concept, except whenever the gameplay trailer showed, the controls looked so mechanical. It's like the guy was walking, and there was a bridge, and then he would do, and then he would jump down, and it'd be like, it was very not flowing, and that worries me because the controls of a game are so important in today's day and age that if they don't flow well, it can completely kill the vibe of a game, especially a game that plays like an RPG, which Bloodborne does. So that kind of worries me. But we will see more about it because it's going to be playable at the PlayStation Experience that's happening this weekend in Vegas also. So we'll have to see how that turns out. I'll be able to read some more feedback on how the game plays out, but as of what I saw last night, it's not looking so hot. So next up we have Adrift, and this is basically where you're an astronaut and your ship has crashed into tons of pieces. It kind of looked like Gravity, really, and it also has the look of, it reminded me a lot of Surgeon Simulator, the field of view that you've got, and it is in first person, but your ship has crashed and basically you have a leak in your oxygen tank or suit in general, and you have a certain amount of time that you have to go find bottled up oxygen, and if the can is red, it's empty. If the can is blue, it has oxygen in it, and you're basically making your way through space, and it's very slow, and it gives off this kind of horror vibe as if you know you're going to die soon, like you're bleeding out, and it looks really cool, but the thing that I thought was the most interesting about this game entirely is the fact that it has Oculus Rift support. So you'll be in a spacesuit in outer space with your surround sound headset on, and you're trying to find bottles of oxygen to keep you alive. That sounds like an amazing experience, and I can't wait to see how this thing plays out. Next up, Boogie2988 presented Total Biscuit the Viral Gamer Award, I believe it was called. Whoever was the most, it was basically the best YouTuber award. And I thought this was really cool because, like I said in yesterday's video, which you can check out in the top corner over there, Boogie2988 is my favorite YouTuber of all time because he has such a good heart, and it's really cool that he went from being a shut-in playing World of Warcraft. Literally, he didn't leave his house for years playing World of Warcraft, and now he's presenting an award on the VGA, or not the VGAs now, but the Game Awards. And all in all, that's just really cool, and he's my favorite YouTuber, and congratulations to Total Biscuit for winning that award. But right after that, Hearthstone beat out Super Smash Bros. 3DS for Handheld Game of the Year. And I don't know how this happened, because Super Smash Bros. Broke so many records, and it's played worldwide. It broke sales records, and Hearthstone was more of a it was really popular for like a solid 3 or 4 months in 2014, and then it kind of died off in the popularity stage. But Super Smash is still being talked about today, and it was released like 2 months ago. So I don't know, maybe it's just my biased opinion, but for some reason I was surprised that Hearthstone beat out Super Smash Bros. 3DS for most played handheld game. So next up we have a game that I'm really interested in, and it's called Before, and it was an idea that one guy had, and then whenever he got moving on this one idea and started developing the game, it was kind of absorbed by Face Punch, aka the guys that made Gary's Mod, and it kind of has a Journey vibe to it. It looks a lot like Journey, and it's basically kind of got a Land Before Time vibe to it, where you survive in a tribe of people. You're a caveman, and there are different settings. You can survive in the African plains, woodlands, Arctic, Hawaiian Islands, like down in the Caribbean, places like that. And it looks to be a really interesting game. It kind of reminded me of Prometheus, if you ever played that on, I believe it was on PlayStation 3. I have it on PlayStation Vita because it was on the PlayStation Plus Game of the Month. But it looks to be really cool, and that's one of the ones that I'm going to keep my eye on, because that could be something that I potentially get really into. Next up, Battlefield Hardline had a band playing and they had a trailer playing, and the game looks great and the narrative looks great, but what I thought was the most significant announcement is that there's going to be a second beta for Battlefield Hardline before it is released on March 17th, I believe. And that's really great, because that shows that EA as well as DICE, they're all trying to avoid what happened to Battlefield 4, and if you aren't aware, Battlefield 4 had one of the worst launches I've ever seen. The game was basically unplayable for a solid 6 months, and that's absolutely ridiculous, which I think is why they're extending the Battlefield 4 DLC season to another year, if I'm understanding what's going on correctly. That's a topic for another day. But Battlefield Hardline is going to be having another beta, which I will be actively participating in because I loved the first beta. And I think it's really great that DICE is trying to avoid another catastrophe, and that shows that they do care about the quality of their games still in today's day and age. So next up we have No Man's Sky, and this is one of the games that I've been looking forward to since last year, and this is basically an open universe interplanetary discovery game. I'm not really even sure how to classify it, but you have a spaceship and you can go around, and each planet in the solar system has individual locations you can discover, and you can walk all over the planet and then hop on a spaceship and you can fly off the spaceship. There are no cutscenes, there's no morphing or anything like that. You go and you just wander around, and the multiplayer is interesting because there is multiplayer, but you can't like hook up with anyone. You can just find people in the universe, and it's a really cool idea. But what I thought about it, in addition to how great it looked because a gameplay trailer was announced, 65 Days of Static, which is a band that I've never heard of, played one of the most beautiful game music pieces I've ever heard, and I will actually be buying this soundtrack, and that's a lot for me because it takes a lot for me to buy a full CD. I love AC/DC. The new album came out this week. I'm not buying that album. I can just listen to it online. No Man's Sky has one of the most beautiful soundtracks so far that I've ever even heard, and it's only one song that I have heard. So congratulations to 65 Days of Static. You guys get an award from me for being such an awesome band, and I know that the guy that was doing the announcement was really excited to have them playing, and that's pretty cool when the developer is passionate about the music as well as the game. So next up, Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year, but that's kind of beside the point. That was pretty much the one that was predicted to win. And after that, though, Nintendo had the biggest announcement of the night, which was the new Legend of Zelda, and they actually had gameplay of it. And oh man, does it look absolutely gorgeous. Normally, I try to shy away from Nintendo just because the games seem to be childish and they don't work very well and the graphics are lower, and I'm normally into first-person shooters. I might actually buy a Wii U, and that takes a lot for me to say that. But with Super Smash coming out, with all of the great first-party titles, well, I don't know if it's called first-party, but the great AAA titles that are coming directly from Nintendo, and it's a great time to buy a Wii U. But The Legend of Zelda looks absolutely amazing. It's got that same third-person perspective that you're used to, except the graphics are so much more lifelike and realistic, as well as the fact that the only thing displayed on the screen other than your character and his horse and everything else is the health bar. The rest of the stuff is on your Wii U controller. It's kind of got that 3DS feel to it, where you've got the top screen that has a pretty much mainstreamed version of the game, and then you have your information down the bottom. That's a really great way to play the game because it cleans up the screen and it gives you more of an experience, like a movie more so than just playing a game. And like I said, it looks absolutely amazing. My jaw dropped. And another thing is that Star Fox will actually be coming out before the new Legend of Zelda, both of which, though, are set to be coming out in 2015. Next year is going to be another great year for Nintendo, and I'm actually going to be talking about Nintendo in a video that I think is going to go up tomorrow, but they've had an amazing year, and I want to congratulate Nintendo on being such an amazing company when others were lacking this year, because this has been the most profitable year for Nintendo that I can ever remember. So there you guys have it. That about wraps it up for my Game Awards 2014 highlights. There were a lot more announcements, like I said before. A quick Google search, you can find all of those. But those are the things that I thought were the most interesting. Personally, I think I am most excited for Before, just because it looks like such an amazing game. But I cannot wait for the 65 Days of Static soundtrack for No Man's Sky. That looks absolutely amazing. Congratulations, Jeff Keighley, for making an amazing award show that really gives video games a good name as opposed to a kind of childish name. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please drop me a like down below. Comment what you thought was the best announcement of the night or the most deserving award that was given. And if you get a second or two, head over to my channel and check out some of my other content. I post a lot of videos, and I almost guarantee that there is something else that you will like. I work hard to bring you guys high quality content, and I love it when you check it out. And yeah, that about wraps it up. So thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.